Lately, I find myself looking at starter boxes and quick start rules to get into new game systems versus buying the rule books. I find that these are better suited for solo gaming, and I have a great experience using them at the table. Today, we're going to take a look at Symbaroum Treasure Hunts in Devakar by Free League Publishing. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. So before we get into the unboxing of this box set, I think it's important to point out with Free League Publishing, some of their box sets are starter sets, some of their box sets are complete games. Forbidden Land, Twilight 2000, soon to be Dragonbane, those are complete games in a box. This, however, is just a simple starter set. It's not terribly expensive. I think it was $40. And it comes with a lot of great information to give you a taste of the world, the background, what's going on, and provides a few adventures that you can decide if you want to use or not. I wanted to take a look at this because I'm getting ready to start another solo game, and this is what I'm going to be using for that game. Just the contents in this box, and obviously I'll be pulling in some of the tools that I like to use in my solo experience. But before I start my adventure and get everything kicked off, I wanted to kind of show off what's in this box set. Before the video, I did some quick typing on the old interwebs and saw that this is selling on Amazon for $39.99, $40. And if you have Prime, free shipping, obviously. And what do you get in the box for $40? So first you get a box. We always like to get boxes. You got a little bit of text on the back talking about the world, no fancy pictures showing you what's inside. So let me show you what's inside. So once you get the lid off, you are greeted with some typical role-playing game dice. This is a set of 6, and mine are green in color. You got your Free League catalog highlighting all their games. So we got Aliens, Forbidden Lands, which Forbidden Lands is a complete game in the box. It's probably one of the best box games I've ever seen as far as the quality goes. And Forbidden Lands is just an awesome game. Tales from the Loop, Symbaroum, and this is just a huge campaign that's going on. And as of recording this, I recently pre-ordered the last chapter of the campaign because it's just these are just great books to read, and the artwork is fabulous. Twilight 2000, again, this is a complete game in the box, and they have a recent expansion came out for that for urban combat. Vaesen doesn't have a starter box. I wonder why this game doesn't have a starter box. You would think it would, but it doesn't. And then Mutineer Zero and Coriolis. And then on the back, they sell the Morkborg product line. So you're going to get 2 books. You got Starter Rules, which this is going to give you background information and some of the mechanics of the game. And one of the reasons I like starter boxes for learning a new game system, especially playing solo, is it's almost like a rules light version. You don't get all the rules. You don't get all of the details, especially if it's kind of a crunchier system. You just get kind of a light sprinkling of the rules, which just gives you enough for solo gaming to add in some of your own content, and it doesn't feel like you're breaking any of the rules because they don't really give you all the rules. And it's one of the reasons I look at starter sets. And I do think this is a pretty good starter set to get you introduced into the world. You get all of the background that you need. You get some of the more interesting concepts. So in this game, there is the Devakar Forest, which it goes into the Dark Forest. You need a license to go treasure hunting. It's almost kind of an unknown, uncharted territory, just like Dragonbane with the Breach or any other type of West March style game. you don't know where you're going, but you need a license to do it. So this actually creates a little bit of cool content for your games, because let's say you go in without a license and you find something really cool and you want to sell it and you don't have your license, you might have to deal with like a black market type setting, or maybe you get caught with it and you have to go in front of the queen and get disciplined. But it's a neat concept for the game, and it's still included in the quick start rules or the starter set. You're going to get some character background information. So with starter sets, normally you get a bunch of pre-generated characters. And for the pre-gens in this starter set, they give you a little bit more information about them, just so you have some understanding, and you get some amazing art. One of the things that attracted me to this system was the art. It's just amazing. I don't know how to describe it, as far as it's a dark, kind of grittier art, but it almost feels a little bit like watercolorings. And I think a lot of that comes from how they do the backgrounds, and just looks kind of distorted like watercolorings. But yeah, looks really cool. And then you're just going to start getting more into races and traits. So you're kind of introduced to all the different races. Yes, you can play goblins and ogres and different things like that. And then you're going to get into some more of the magical side of things, like spells and how magic works in this game. Combat rules. Now, one of the things I feel makes Symbaroum better for solo playing is everything, all the roles are players facing. So the players roll everything. The game master is only there to narrate the story or what's going on, but the players roll all the dice, which immediately makes me think that, okay, this is better for solo playing, because it's already kind of designed for me to roll all my dice, so that just makes it a little bit easier. And combat is no exception. You just do, you roll, and based on your rolls will determine if you take damage or not when you are attacked. So you're pretty much just making a defensive roll when you're attacked. And it works out good. And here's a quick chart of everything that you do during combat. It looks intimidating to look at a chart like this for combat, but there's just certain things you can do during your combat move or your combat action, and then how you deal damage and how everything's worked out, which is nice to just have it done in a little chart. But yeah, you get a little bit of everything, and you got your other rules that you would use for social challenges and stuff, and you get some equipment. So this is, in my opinion, more of a rules light type of a system, because they didn't go deep into all of the rules, and that kind of works. And then at the very back, they explain the character sheet to you. So it's not a real intense read. It's only going to clock in at like 63 pages, and let's face it, the last two are just character sheet. But you get enough to start playing your game. And with solo gaming, we're always changing rules and anything. So why go out and buy the big tome rule book when you can just buy this little pamphlet style rule book and get enough to play the game? And I just like how these starter sets work. And then if you like it, if you really get a taste for the system that you're playing, then go out and buy all the big books and really explore the world. The second book you get is Setting and Adventure. So this is going to get more into the background and the setting. Just love that art. But you're going to get a little bit of information about the different locations and adventures and places you can visit. This is the part that I'm going to be looking at for my game, which is just adventuring into the Dark Forest or Davokar, how to travel, and what kind of rolls do you need to make for traveling, and all that good stuff that we need. Here's a little hex map of Davokar. You got all your cities laid out, and then basically, if you're walking, just normal walking, you pretty much in the light forest, which is the outside ring of the forest, you can travel 1 hex a day. But when you get into the darker forest, and the reason it's a dark forest is the tree canopy is so thick up above that sunlight doesn't reach the ground. And this is where all the crazy creatures and elves live and things like that. You can only travel half a hex a day, so it takes 2 days to travel a hex because you can barely see. But this is all unexplored territory. It's unmapped. It's just kind of there, and the charts in this little section of the rule book give you tools and things that you can use so you can go explore that. And I just think it's a great little system, and that's what I want to mess around with. This is what I want to play with. And then we get monsters and adversaries, so it's pretty intense and gives you quite a bit of information that you can use to play your game. You got some big encounters and you got some small encounters listed, so you can have a little bit of everything. And then there's some other actual adventures that you can run on. If you have a group. I don't have a group. I play by myself. But if you had a group, there are some small encounters or adventures you can run. There's a tower and good stuff, little dungeon stuff, a little bit of everything. But I'm using this primarily for the overland portion of it. I just want to see how it plays out. I want to get into some conflicts. I want to do some exploration using this rule system just to see how I like it. And I just think this is a great way for me to explore it without a lot of financial investment up front. Then you got pre-generated characters. You got a variety of different ones. I like the pre-generated characters in the system because they give you a sprinkling of everything, bodyguards and wizards and witch hunters and knights and, just different taste of characters that you can run with. But you can also just use these as NPCs to help with your game system, or they can become members of your party that you find along the way, and you don't have to generate another character. You can just grab these. And even if you go beyond the starter set, you can still use these in future games and just have them available. So it's just a neat addition to any starter set is having some pre-generated characters, because they're going to be pretty balanced, pretty across the board, easy to use, easy to play, just to give you that taste of how they would run in the game system. And then you're going to get a couple maps. So here we have, this would be more for the players because it's not hexed out, but this would be Ambria and Davokar. Ambria is this system down here, which is where the queen is now, without getting into a lot of the backstory, but this is where the queen is. These are the barbarians, clans around the dark forest of Davokar. But you got a nice little map. You got some locations you can go exploring. And then if you really want to go into the dark forest, you can, or you can come over here to the mountains off to the side. But neat stuff. On the back, this is Thistlehold. This is a city map. So if you want to do a little city exploration, but you have all these different locations, there's information in the setting and adventures guide that goes into much more detail of this location, giving you more information that you can pull from and explore in the city. And again, it's not everything's listed out, so you could have all kinds of fun in here. And there's nothing saying you can't, what's underneath the city. Is there a sewer system? And maybe that's where you can do like maybe a dungeon crawl or a sewer crawl if you wanted to. But key locations are listed out, and it's just a nice little city map that you could use this in any other game system that you have if you're just looking for some sort of city exploration, or you just need a quick city to throw on the table so that you're inspired to start walking around and describing certain things. And then you're going to get just a generic battle map if you're using the miniatures, just so you can have a place to set them. It's not hexed out. It's just a visual appeal. It's got a little bit of artwork here. It kind of looks like, I don't know, some sort of pedestal or maybe an entrance into a dungeon. You can use your creativity and go nuts with it. And then this is that wizard's tower. that we saw in the rule book that just is more of a visual for maybe your players or just something to have on the table. And that's it. So that's everything you get in the starter set, but it's a good introduction into the game and into the world of Symbaroum. And these are what I'm looking at more and more these days versus buying more books. Or if the game has a quick start set of rules, sometimes you have to purchase them or sometimes they're free to download. I just find them to be a little bit more friendly towards solo gaming because they're usually not all of the rules. They're not as intense on the rules. They're a little bit lighter just to give you that taste, which allows the solo gamer to add to those rules so much easier. Doesn't feel like you're cheating or breaking the rules because they're not in there. And you're kind of a little bit more free flowing with your game system. This is just a great way, I feel, for getting into a rule system or a game system that you might be interested in because this gives you a sprinkling of the rules. It doesn't give you the real intense rules. And they actually mention throughout this booklet that more detailed information can be found in the other supplements. And if you choose to go that route, if you choose to, get a taste for it, and if you feel, oh, this is a great system, then go explore those other books. And it's just enough to get you going, get you started, and that's what I'm liking about these starter sets or the quick start rules. Is it just gives me more flexibility with adding what I want. I don't feel like I'm cheating or breaking the rules of the game because I'm changing anything, because a lot of the rules just don't exist. They keep it very simple. These are meant to just get someone excited about the rules or the world so that they want to go venture into buying more of the product line. I own everything that's out there for Symbaroum. I love this book series as far as for reading goes. That's great reading material. But the art is really attractive to me. And I think it probably has one of the best GM guides I've ever read for any rule system, just really giving you different tools and different things that you can use in your gaming sessions that just make it a little bit more enjoyable. And I'll be doing a separate review of the GM's guide because there's just a lot going on in that GM's guide. If you're interested, you can pretty much pick this up in a lot of local stores, or you can just buy it directly from Free League or Amazon, those usual places that you can buy their products. But I'm having a good time with this, and I will be running my next solo session using the information just found in this starter set and then including any of my tools that I like using for my solo games. So thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.